Okay. So, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to record is, but next Friday, Friday the 13th, I have to get my wisdom teeth removed. So, I'm probably not going to be able to record for a while after that, so don't expect much the following week. Of course, if I can, I will record that week, or maybe I'll just bulk record and then just post one video a week. But for now, this is what we're doing. So, starting where we left off, right when he came into UA. He entered class 1A, did the whole speech thing about how in that singular moment Uraraka's life, I'm just gonna say Ochaka's life was in his hands at that moment, so he knew he had to do something. He couldn't just leave her like she was someone else's problem. And that's when the door opens and Aizawa was there. I'm not gonna say he's in his sleeping bag because that just makes things weird. No, fuck it, he's in his sleeping bag. Everyone's like, what? Because they're not idiots like they are in canon. They know it's just a guy in his sleeping bag. And so, he says the whole, if you're here to make friends, then you should leave now thing. And he gets up and out of his. But I guess it'll be better if you all know who you are with, who you'll be training with for the next 3 years. So, here we go. So, why don't you all introduce yourselves? And also so I can get more sleep, why don't you all introduce yourselves? And he goes in the sleeping bag and he goes to sleep on the floor. And so everybody introduces himself, and then we get to Izuku's turn, and he stands up, and everyone describes what their quirk is. Explain to him what it is, what their quirks do. And so Izuku gets up. He says, "My name is Senta Midoriya, and before anyone asks, I'm adopted." The reason I have to say that is because people continuously ask for one reason or another. It's like, hey, did your father just create a robot to replace his son? No, fuck you guys. Seriously, don't ask that. It's annoying. Be treated like you're a fucking robot and not a human being. And some of the people in the classroom feel bad for him now because he's treated like he's not even human when it's just a quirk. And because he does explain how his quirk is cyborg and how it turns almost his entire body into a machine, if not his entire body. Because he ain't gonna explain too much into it. And he says that's all, and he sits down, and then we move on to our new character. And for this character, all rights reserved to the people who actually made this. So, I think it's The Pirate Hunter on, DeviantArt. Can't be sure. It's someone on DeviantArt did it. Anyway, her name's Rinko Katsumori. And, well, I think her quirk is self-explanatory, but it does give her a scorpion tail and also scorpion vision, so without the purple glasses on, it's really hard for her to see, except unless it's like dark, because apparently scorpions can't see in the light for some reason. But if you're wondering, also, kudos to the person who wrote the fanfiction Dual Quirk Izuku on fanfiction.net, because that's where I'm pulling her backstory and personality from. Anyway, moving on. Now we have the quirk assessment test, and I think I'm just gonna go with this picture. And, so, does that. And, so, Mr. Aizawa gets up, is like, good, you're done. Now, and then he takes the PE uniforms out of his bag. Now put these on and meet me outside. 8 at training field beta. I think that's what it was. Anyway, moving on. They do all the quirk assessment tests and stuff. Now then, when Izuku, like I said, Izuku's like really fast and stuff. He probably gets it. Probably in 2 seconds flat, he does the 50-meter run. And he basically can keep going forever because of the whole, a robot doesn't have actual energy. It doesn't have to go through all the, creating energy stuff. He has infinite amounts of stamina because robot. And so he keeps going, so he does pretty good with all of the tests. And I could say he could probably lift about 500 pounds in each arm, like almost completely effortlessly. No, I'm gonna say that's about his max, is 500 pounds in each arm. Because 1, he's a literal machine, and 2, he's already bulky as fuck before the surgery, and then he continued training after the surgery, replacing his body parts. And because some of the machines in his body that work as his muscles actually work like muscles and can grow, that's how it works. And so we get to the ball throw, in which the top part of his arm, from his fist that's clenched around the ball to his elbow, just comes off and rockets forward about 250 meters, and then it actually throws the ball forward at full strength, and then it comes back, and then the arm comes back and reattaches onto his body. And, well, I'm going to say he scores about 800... No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does. 800. Like, whereabouts 800 meters. And so, Izuku comes out on top. First place. Katsuki is in 3rd place, and Shoto is in 2nd place, and no one cares about the rest. And the whole thing where he says he's gonna expel someone doesn't happen, because he's more chill. Plus he already saw a bit of potential in everybody, so he wouldn't even bother with it, because he sees everyone trying their best anyway. And so, moving on. So after that happens, and he goes and he says okay. By this time, the class is over for the day. So, he's like, okay, class is over. Go, you little shits. I'm gonna go sleep. No, so they all go and they all have their conversations. And Izuku's like kind of wanting to talk to Kyoka about it. You know, he kind of wants to talk to Kyoka about his whole thing, but he doesn't want. However, you know, he wants to get back to this and this, minus the scars, and this, minus the suit. But, you know, so he's gonna go up to talk to her, and then she's looking at her phone, and, you know, she's looking at the date, and she sees the date it is, and it's about a month before Izuku got kidnapped. Or rather, I should say about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks before he got kidnapped. It's fast approaching. Now, the reason I do this is because I want to get to this quicker. So, it's about a week. 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. Hold on, give me a minute. Ooh. Sorry, I was baking cinnamon rolls. And so he sees her like that. And he's like, why is she crying? So, you know, he goes up to her and says, and, you know, he's like, are you okay? She's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. You know, it's personal things. Like, and she kind of just runs away. He's like, okay. That was weird. And she runs off, you know, goes back home. Next day, hero training. All Might comes in, he's like, I'm coming through the door like a normal person! Except he's not coming through the door like a normal person. And so he says, oh, we're gonna be doing hero training today. Like, oh, great. Everyone get on your hero suits. You know, he's like, this is Izuku's. He doesn't have the gloves. Or the shoes, because, you know, literal feet made of metal. So, he doesn't have the gloves, he doesn't have the tattoo. And so that's just how it is. So that, and the reason they're sleeveless is because, you know, he wants to be able to fire off his lasers without destroying his clothes. There are other reasons, which I'll get into later. But for now, that's all you need to know. And moving on, I'm just gonna skim through this. They're the same matchups as always, and Izuku uses like some of his technology to create goggles, and he gives them to Uraraka. Uraraka puts them on, and all of a sudden she can see the entire layout of the building from just from anywhere. It just showing her the entire layout of the building. It's like, what else is your Quirk capable of? Whatever I want it to be capable of. Anything to do with technology, I can do it. She's like, can you hack into the government? It's like, if I wanted to. And she's like, goes wide-eyed, just like, wait, hold on, I was joking, but you could? It's like, yeah, I'm literally connected to the internet and everything. So anything that's connected to the internet, I have access to at all times. And keep in mind, everyone that's with All Might can hear this too. They're all like, whoa, hold on. Anyway, the plan that he has planned out is sent to Uchako's, oh god, her last name is a butcher. You know, so he sends the plan to her, they go into action, plan works out perfectly, flawlessly. No one even knows that they had it planned. Like, if you didn't know any better, you'd say they'd done this before. Izuku probably has during his training, though, not gonna lie. And so, the rest of the battles go to canon. And then the next day, the USJ happens. The USJ, man. The USJ. The USJ. Unforeseen simulation joint. This place. And, you know, everyone's getting hyped up, like, we're gonna do this, yes, finally, some real action, learn how to save people, and then they get there, and then a portal opens up, and all of the villains come marching through. And that's where I'm gonna end it here. I'm probably gonna post this video as soon as I'm done recording it. And let me know what kind of technology you want me to implant into Izuku, because you guys are probably gonna come up with some stuff I'm never gonna come up with, ever. So, if you have some ideas, hit me up. Post in the comments. And, yeah, I'll probably, if I have time, record this later. The reason I have to stop now is I have school in like 20 minutes, so see ya.